Welcome to the Illinois ESSER Spending Dashboard tutorial. My name is Krish Mohip, and I am the Deputy Education Officer at ISB. Joining me is Nehemiah Ankor, our Learning Renewal Lead. Today, we will discuss the purpose of the Illinois ESSER Spending Dashboard and the information it contains. We will also show you how to navigate the different pages of the dashboard. Before we dive into the purpose of this dashboard, as well as the navigation of this tool, I want to spend some time further defining some of the terms you may encounter in the ESSER dashboard. At the most basic level, what is ESSER? ESSER, formerly known as the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, was established to address the impact that the COVID-19 pandemic has had and continues to have on elementary and secondary schools across the nation. There have been 3 rounds of ESSER funding authorized by the federal government and administered by the U.S. Department of Education. These 3 will be referred to as ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3. This last one is also sometimes referred to as ARP ESSER. 90% of ESSER funds flow directly to the local education agencies, or LEAs. The remaining 10% of ESSER funds may be retained by the state education agency, or SEA. This is referred to as the SEA reserve or the state set-aside funds. The SEA may also use 0.5% of its total grant for administrative costs. The state set-aside funds are available to address emergency needs resulting from COVID-19, which may be expended through the use of subgrants or contracts. Another term which is useful to know is Title I, which is a provision of the Every Student Succeeds Act, SESA, that provides financial assistance to local educational agencies for children from low-income families to help ensure that all children meet challenging state academic standards. The LEA 90% funds were distributed based on the formula for Title I funding. It should also be noted that ESSER 1 funds must be obligated by September 30th of 2022. ESSER 2 must be obligated by September 30th of 2023. And ESSER 3 or ARP ESSER must be obligated by September 30th of 2024. The purpose of the ESSER dashboard is to provide the public with a transparent view of how these public funds were allocated and being invested at the state and local level. The dashboard is available on ISB's website and allows users to view funding allocations and real-time updates on spending pertaining to each of the 3 federal pandemic relief grants. School districts are required to submit quarterly expenditure reports for their ESSER funds. This information flows to the Financial Reimbursement Information System and then to the ESSER dashboard, which allows general public access view to updated information on ESSER expenditures as they are submitted. There are 6 pages within the dashboard that allow users to visualize different types of data related to ESSER spending. The navigation page is the home page of the dashboard that describes the purpose of the dashboard. There are 2 state dashboard pages that give an overview of all ESSER funds, including details about the 90% of ESSER funds distributed directly to local education agencies in accordance with the federal Title I formula. There are 3 SEA 9.5% pages that provide more detail about Illinois' use of state set-aside funds. And now my colleague, Nehemiah Ankor, will walk us through these pages.
Thank you, Krish. As Krish said, the first page is our navigation page. This is the dashboard home screen. It provides an overview of ESSER funding and how allocations were determined. The 2 boxes at the bottom of the page may be selected to navigate to funding pages. Clicking All ESSER Funds takes the user to the State Dashboard Summary page, and clicking SEA 9.5% Funds takes the user to the SEA 9.5% Summary page. You can also navigate to these pages and other pages by clicking on the bars on the left side of the screen. The State Dashboard page provides a summary of total allocated, total spent, and total remaining for each of the 3 rounds of ESSER funding. The lines next to ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3 represent the 90% of funds that is flowing directly to the LEAs. The 9.5% is the state set-aside funds directed by the state. This page also shows a breakdown of how ESSER funds have been spent by object code. An object code is a service or commodity obtained as a result of a specific purpose indicated on a project budget. This includes supplies and materials, salaries, capital outlay, purchase services, non-capitalized equipment, and employee benefits. As a federal grant, ESSER funds operate on a reimbursement basis. Districts must submit expenditure reports in order to receive reimbursement. The object codes are pulled from the expenditure reports that entities have submitted in the Financial Reimbursement Information System. The filters on the left side of the page allows users to see data for a specific entity, regional office of education, geographic service area, or ESSER grant. A step-by-step demonstration of how to use the filters will be provided during the navigation demonstration at the end of the webinar. The State Dashboard by Descriptor page includes a summary of ESSER program expenditures by function code. When creating a project budget, the user will categorize the action or purpose for which a person or thing is used or exists by descriptor. Examples of function descriptors include instruction, health services, pupil transportation, and guidance services. For example, on the previous page, salary was one of the object codes. The descriptor provides additional detail as to how the salary was used. If a school district hired an interventionist, the descriptor for the salary would be instruction. If the salary was for a social worker, it would fall under attendance and social work services. The SEA 9.5% summary page is structured similarly to the state dashboard page that summarizes all ESSER funds. Unlike the state dashboard page, this page only includes data for the 9.5% of funds that was reserved for state education agencies. This page also shows a breakdown of how these funds have been spent by their object code in the Financial Reimbursement Information System. The SEA 9.5% by sub-program page provides more detailed spending information about the individual programs that make up the entirety of the SEA 9.5% ESSER funds. These sub-programs are sub-grants or contracts to entities that have more specific uses for the funds than the 90% distributed directly to local education agencies through the federal Title I funding formula. For example, the Digital Equity sub-program funded with ESSER I SEA funds was a formula grant distributed to assist school districts in closing the digital divide and enabling digital aid teaching and learning. School districts were able to use these funds to provide students with technology tools and home internet access necessary for technology-rich remote learning experiences. ESSER I sub-programs are listed in purple in the spending table, ESSER II sub-programs are listed in blue, and ESSER III sub-programs are listed in orange. There is a bar chart at the bottom of the page that displays the proportion of each ESSER fund spent by each sub-program. Finally, the SEA 9.5% by descriptor page provides a summary of how state set-aside funds have been spent by entities according to the expenditures function code in our Financial Reimbursement Information System. This is structured similarly to the state dashboard by descriptor page. Now that we have given you an overview of the different pages and the different types of visualizations that are in these pages, we are going to take you through a live demonstration of the different functions, particularly the filtering and sorting that you can do within the dashboard. We will now show you the ESSER Spending Dashboard. The first page you will see is the navigation page. This is where you can click to see all ESSER funds on this tile, or just the State Education Agency 9.5% of funds on this tile. If you click the All ESSER Funds tile, it will automatically take you to page 2, as you can see down here. If you were to click the SEA 9.5% funds tile, it would take you to page 4, as you can see down here at the bottom of the screen. To go back to any page or forward, you can click on this 4 out of 6 and go back to whichever page you would like. I'll take us back to the navigation page and then proceed forward to the All ESSER Funds summary page. You can also navigate to different pages by clicking the arrows at the bottom here. On the All ESSER Funds summary page, you will see at the top there is a spending table. These different column headers sort the data according to the different grant source on the left. You can see a column for total allocated. This is the amount of money that was allocated from each of the 3 ESSER grant programs, as well as the total SEA 9.5% grant. You can see the total amount of money spent, the total amount of money remaining, the percent remaining, and the percent spent. These columns are sortable if you were to click on the header and this arrow right here. As you can see, it is rearranging the data from largest to smallest. This works in any of the columns and also allows you to rearrange the ESSER grant alphabetically. You also see that there is a table of spending by object. This summarizes the spending, the total ESSER spending by the different object codes that are in the financial reimbursement system. This table is visualized with a pie chart, which is a proportion of the spending by object code. Each slice is a different color that corresponds to the categories on the key to the right. So as you can see here, for example, this orange pie slice matches with purchase services, meaning that 18.69% of all ESSER funds spent so far are categorized as purchase services. You also see here the filters on the left. This entity filter will allow you to search for any entity that is receiving ESSER grant funds. If you click on an entity's name, the spending table, the object spending table, and the object spending pie chart all update with just that district's data. You can also see on the side, if you click on a district, what geographic area they're in, the administrator on file in the entity profile system, the grades they serve, and if you click on this, it will go to that district's website. To unclick an entity, just check this box. You can also search for an entity by typing a letter, and it will populate entities that have those search features. Another one of the filters is the ROE filter. This stands for Regional Offices of Education. These are offices that are grouped by county or counties throughout Illinois and are administered by locally elected regional superintendents of schools. As you can see here, the ROEs are in order by alphabetically ordered by the county that is first listing their name. You can search similar to the entity filter by typing the name of a county, and it will pop up that ROE. If you click on an ROE, it will automatically update the spending table, the object spending table, and the pie chart, just as it did for the entity. To deselect an ROE, just click the check box, and it will go back to the full ESSER fund summary. The next filter is the geographic area filter. There are 6 geographic areas of the state according to the Illinois Association of Regional Superintendent of Schools map. As you can see, these labels show the part of the state that each area represents. So by clicking Northeast, you would see information about all of the entities receiving ESSER grant funds that are in the Northeast portion of the state. And the last filter is grant. So you can select the specific ESSER grant that you would like to see, and it will update the spending and object tables. You can also select these filters in combination with each other. So for example, if you would like to see a district's spending in just ESSER 3, you could select that district and then go to select the ESSER 3 grant, and it will update the spending table, the spending by object table, as well as the object pie chart on this page. On the next page, you will see all ESSER funds spent by descriptor. To see a state summary, deselect the entities that you had selected on the previous page, as well as any other filters that you selected. Similar to the object spending table, this table is sortable by the different column headings. You can see that the function column is categorized alphabetically, but if you would like to see which descriptor function had the most spending, you could click the top column here and see that instruction had the most spending of all ESSER funds so far, as well as the percent of that total funding that it represents. There is a summary box to the right that shows the total amount of of spending, depending on which filters you have selected. So as you can see here, 3.54 billion of all ESSER funds in the state have been spent so far. All of the filters that were in the summary table are the same in this table, and the functionality is all the same as well. The next page is their ESSER SEA 9.5% summary page. Similarly, we have a summary spending table, but unlike the second page, which was the total ESSER summary funds page, this just has the SEA 9.5% funds separated by grant program. All of the filters are the same as the previous pages. And you can see that it has a similar spending by object table, as well as a object spending pie chart that updates depending on the filters you select. Our next page is the ESSER SEA 9.5% funds spending by sub-program. This page allows you to see the different sub-programs that make up each of the ESSER funds, which are the activities that the state has funded to help districts recover from the impacts of COVID. Similarly, this table is sortable by the different column headers, and each of the grants have a color coding. ESSER 1 is purple, ESSER 2 is blue, and then you can scroll down to the right here and see that ESSER 3 is orange. Similarly, you can sort by allocation, spent, remaining, percent spent. The filters are the same as the previous pages, where you can select the entity that received the grant funds, the regional offices of education, the geographic areas, as well as the specific grant. The bottom bar chart shows the different percentage of funds spent by sub-program. And this will update according to any chosen filter. This is a great page to see if you would like to see which entities are participating in which of the sub-programs that the state is administering. Our last page is the ESSER SEA 9.5% funds spent by descriptor page. This is similar to the all ESSER funds spent by descriptor page. It has the same filters, the same functionality of the table, and the same summary box to the right. So as you can see, similar to the all ESSER funds, the majority of ESSER SEA 9.5% funds to date have also been spent on instruction. That concludes our demonstration of the Illinois ESSER Spending Dashboard. We thank you for your interest in the Spending Dashboard, and we hope you will use it to better understand how the districts and the state is helping support students, families, and school districts as they recover from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.